3 is the future.
Welcome, crew, to What Are Your Three, a Channel 3 podcast where we take a member of the Channel 3 community, discuss 3 games of their choosing, go through some honorable mentions. I'm looking over at my notes like I have anything written down for this part, and I don't. I still don't 112 episodes later. I was watching a little Cool Games video earlier. It's like, I need to figure out introductions. Like, I just keep saying the same thing over and over again for 112 episodes. I still don't like it, but whatever. I'm Dan Race here. Whatever.
Tonight's guest, we bring back one of the original guests back when the show was 30 something minutes long. So you didn't get to hear a whole lot of them, but apparently no one has listened to any other show more than this one. It is in fact blockmamba. Mamba, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys?
We're good.
I don't care if it's student extra credit going out. I'm okay with that in this case. You know, you go right ahead.
It is in fact the most listened to episode. It is episode number 2, right? It is episode number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so number. It went Chicken Bro Main, Block Mamba, and then Joel. And Joel held the one spot for a while, but Mamba was gunning for him there.
Mamba took
It's
over.
when you can assign this as homework, you have a leg up on the competition for sure.
It works.
Just kidding.
It works. So now we get to listen. We get to listen to more in detail with the games here. This is is this 2 years later? I don't even know when this happened.
We're more than 2 years later. That was October of 2022. So we're 2.5
Oh
years.
my gosh, dude.
We're like,
oh my gosh.
I was saying
So October was our second year. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So because we did the Chicken Bro Main episode in September, because you and I did the stealth recording of like, don't tell Joel, let's see how this goes, and if it works or not. And we shadow dropped it on YouTube, and we're like, hey, some people listen to this and tell us if it works or not. We're like, all right, let's roll with it. And that meant Mamba was call number 2. We knew Joel was number 3. We're like, all right, Mamba's number 2. Let's do this.
Honored.
Now we're here. All right, so we're gonna start the list off. We're starting off strong. Let me tell you,
very much.
When it comes to how people start lists off, this might be actually the best way to start a list off. I'm going to say that right now. So we're going to talk about Super Mario 64, the best.
I think I put this on the list simply for Ray's benefit. Honestly,
I'm not upset.
A fellow lover of one of the best games of all time, I had to throw some honor out there for this one for sure. Although I do want to start out with a little disappointment. I am very disappointed in how early this went out in the C3 bracket. I don't know who picked the Nintendo games, but I was not okay with it.
Oh, that was Joel. You can blame him.
Throw that out there.
You can blame Joel for that one. That's
all
him.
What was 64? What was 64 matched up against though?
Original Mario Bros.
The original
it had
Mario
to
Bros.
happen, guys.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
Absolutely
yes,
not.
It did.
All you old people.
No, it's see. The problem is, if you ask my son which of the two, it's going to be Super Mario Brothers. If you ask people older than you two, it's going to be Super Mario Brothers. You guys are the 2 people in the sweet spot
right now.
You're the sweet spot of your early of the where you guys are in your age.
I just want to the millennials are the middle child of society right now, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it right now.
I watched a video earlier where they asked college students what year you're born if you're old, and they said 2002. If you were born before 2002, you're old now, and that one really hurt me. I'm not gonna lie.
That means both my brothers are now old.
Listen, we're all in the category. We were all born in the 1900s now, so it's just.
My students have unironically said that to me. They're like, so Mr. Ray, you were born in 1900s, right? What was that like? I was like, what?
Okay,
who do you think you are?
I'm gonna one up you really quick. So we just visited my aunt and uncle over the weekend, and they're in their like mid 70s, but her dad was born in 1897. He obviously has passed away, but her dad was born in I'm like the 1800s. Okay,
thanks
now
for
we're
clarifying.
Talking.
He's no longer with us. I'm glad we got that on the record.
We do not have a Guinness Book World Record here going here. No, he has passed away. But I was like 1800s. That was mind blowing to me.
That's wild.
But anyway, back to Super Mario.
Yeah. Here's my first question, because I know you've posted about this.
Yeah.
What's the reason? Because you have like a yearly playthrough of this,
Yes.
right? Is there any reason particular for that, or are you just like, I enjoy this game, so I just want to play it again every time?
Well, and so kind of talking about what we were just discussing, actually, my first game that I truly remember playing through was the Super Mario Brothers and then Super Mario Brothers 3 on the NES, however you want to say it. I'll get you two going. But anyway, Super Mario Brothers was my first game we had. That was it was Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt combination on the NES is what we had growing up. And so that was my first introduction to video games, really. But the N64 was like the first system that we got, me, my brother, my sister got from my grandma for Christmas one year. And so our first kind of 3 games was Mario Kart, Mario Party, and then Super Mario 64. Mario Kart had a ton of fun playing, battles, races, all those things. Mario Party, we had a really good time with the mini games, but Super Mario 64, it just took over, and I could just sit there and play for hours upon hours upon hours. And that's the first game I ever got 100% on, was that game. And every year I play it through, I get 100% again. I don't know. It's so rewarding. Although I say it's rewarding, your reward is talking to Yoshi really quick. It's really not that cool, honestly.
And you get 100 lives when the game's over. Yeah.
Yeah, you get 100 lives to go
right.
play some more. And so it's not like rewarding in a sense of like such a cool ending. But I don't know. That was the first one 100%. I don't 100% a lot of games, honestly. Very few. Odyssey was one of them. 64 was one of them, but it's few and far between. But this is one that, yeah, I play every year, 100% at every single time I play it. But it was really kind of with those first games of our first system that we got as a present. And we were just kind of the NES when we had it, like we played some video games, but video games weren't like huge back then. I feel like the N64 and then the GameCube really is what jumped us into the game of video games, or the world of video games.
Is there any part of the playthrough that you find tedious? Like for me, immediate is getting 100 coins on Rainbow Ride. That's like it's not fun. That is not fun because
you're taking all my content.
I was like, because I'm standing there and I'm just waiting on this magic card.
Well, there's the gift for this episode.
So
you're taking all my content.
I made a couple lists of like some just like the least favorite levels. They're just so tedious. And number 2 on the list is some of the 100 coin levels, specifically Rainbow Ride.
It's rough.
Yeah, taking the magic carpet and going through. It's just, yeah, it's really the whole Rainbow Ride world. Just, I get through it every time I get to it. Basically,
let me tell you, as someone who will defend the whole camera angle thing and tell people like just turn it, stop complaining. You can't move.
You.
Like, I can move in every direction. I can run in a straight line with no problems at all. That level's camera is actually terrible.
Yeah,
because it doesn't go high enough.
Yep.
And you're going up while the camera stays down here on you, as if everyone can watch me and all these movements that I'm doing here.
And you're trying, like when you're like taking the carpet like into the building and like the camera starts turning. Yeah, it's, again, I'll say this all the time. Like the camera, it's wonky. Like there's some issues with it, but like it gave us some of these 3D games that we like all love nowadays. Like this was the beginning.
See,
and so the camera angle, it literally never bothered me. Part of it is the nostalgia. I
never thought of it. Yeah, I never thought of it either.
It never even gave it. Same thing with Wind Waker on the GameCube, one of my favorite Zelda games of all time. Yeah, the camera sucks at times, but every year when I don't play that every year, but every time I go back and play it, the camera is not even a second thought to me. And so obviously to a certain level, even though it's bad, it's very easy to play through as long as you're semi-decent at the game.
You have an advantage though, because you play this on the 64 still though, right? Like you have the 64.
Well, I do play it. I've played it on the Switch a couple times as well, because I have the All Stars or Super whatever. Yeah, 3D All Stars.
Yeah.
So I've played it on there too. But yeah, there's nothing better than that N64 controller in your hand.
The C buttons are huge for controlling that camera. That like you need.
The right stick does it on the Pro.
It does, but my brain does. It's the muscle memory thing, like we were talking about with Ori. Though my brain can't handle using the stick instead of those C buttons to control it. Like it's like no, it's too late. I'm done. I'm cooked. Just go throw me in the trash.
I love the N64 controller, and like for like shooters and things, like obviously not having the secondary, it's awful. It's awful. But like I was just teaching my niece and nephew the other day over here playing like some Mario Tennis and things, and they're like sitting there trying to hold it, and they're like clawing at the outside, and I'm like, no, here Here you go. Let me show you. It's not that hard. But yeah, those C buttons for the camera. I don't know. There's something about that N64 controller. It's just, again, nostalgia.
You should have broken out the VHS tape for them that they sent out with Nintendo Power for the Nintendo 64 hype and put that in for them. Made them watch the VHS, like get them excited to hold the controller. That would have helped probably.
I did just grab a VCR the other day because my kid had we have some VHSs he wanted to watch. And so I do have the VCR all set up, ready to go.
What's your favorite overall floor? If you had to pick a level, is it your basic floor, the basement, or the upstairs? And we can take the upstairs and like the Rainbow Road section is all one kind of thing.
Oh, that is a tough question. That's tough.
That's what I'm here for.
I honestly, if I had to choose, I do think the first floor, the main floor, holds like the most nostalgia for me. Like you have the original levels. You're going up against the bomb. You're going to this. So I think that'd probably be my favorite floor. But I do love the Bowser levels. I really do. I enjoy those. Probably my favorite levels overall. But I would have to say the main floor, just the first few paintings you jump into.
It's funny because when the other day I was thinking about it, that when I think of Mario music, like my head goes to 64 music. So I'll think of the first level music, or even just the castle when you walk in. Like I know what the Mario like actual theme music is, but that's the one I kind of hear in my head whenever I do it.
I've been bobbing my head because of the slide music in my head. The whole time.
Yeah.
Well, as you just said that, like the music immediately, as soon as you start music, when you exit the painting and the music that starts playing right there, like that's just going through my head right now. And so, yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say I think I still take the basement though because I get 2 levels. I get lava and the desert where I get to ride the shell. So I get riding the shell. So I love the shell and the pyramid. Figuring out that the pyramid explodes and you have to go through the top of the pyramid in the desert.
That's nice. You can also ride the shell. You can also ride the shell one of those first levels, correct?
The first level.
Yeah,
the first level you'll get it after you on star 3 after you race Koopa.
Yeah,
there's a metal basement level that's like near Water Temple, confusing to me sometimes. I feel like
that's definitely confusing when you if you first play it. I think most of the levels do a pretty decent job. Like again, I think World 1 is like Mario just does great at tutorial levels without telling you that it's a tutorial. The metal world, or that with Loch Ness Monster and everything, that thing's a mess. It's like
the amount of times I tried to swim down into those bubbles, just thinking one of these times I'll be able to get in there. You just, maybe it'll change, but it did not. It did not. I do think. Oh, go ahead.
No, go.
I would say one of my favorite like kind of little things that come from the game is how Mario can lose his hat. That was always one of my favorite things. Was always trying to find the different areas you could do it. And then I remember learning that it actually hurts you more when you don't have your hat on. Is kind of when I feel like I stopped doing that. And then also, I never ran into it. I did have friends who did it, who like they lost their cap or their sibling lost their cap and they didn't know where it was. So you have to go back in and like, okay, let's go check the monkey. Let's see if Mr. Blizzard, he blew it off. Let's see if the bird is wearing it around in, was it Shifting Sand, I think. That was one of my favorite little things because that was so cool. I don't know, just seeing Mario without a hat on, like you never saw that. And so I remember the first time, I think the monkey was the first one that took it from me, and like seeing him wear it around, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, especially because they're like, yeah, you need to catch him. You have to catch him. There's definitely a star there. And he's like, I will take this.
Wait, hang on. That's a sibling beating needed there.
Yeah, right.
And that really
100%.
So if you like shut the game off when it's taking your hat or whatever, like you're just stuck without it until you figure out where it got. Oh my god!
Yeah, if you don't remember where you're gonna go searching for it if you happen to forget where you left it.
Oh no!
So if like a monkey takes it or it blows off in a level or something, and you leave the painting, it's just stuck in there until
it stays there.
Yep, 100%.
I forget. No, the rabbit can't take it. I was gonna think of the rabbit underground.
No, the rabbit, dude. You're talking about the basement.
Catching that rabbit is tough.
Oh my gosh, dude. The amount of hours spent just running and diving and then accidentally diving into like the wall level down. I can't remember which one it's called, but off the top of my head. Yeah, that was infuriating trying to catch that rabbit. But I do love how they've incorporated catching a rabbit in like all these different Mario games, like Odyssey. You got to catch a rabbit to get a Power Moon, and I do like how they've continued that on. But yeah, catching that rabbit in that basement, painful at times.
Do you what was I gonna say? Oh gosh, I have like my last question.
Wow, we have our first on-air stroke. This is.
Hey, he was born in the 1900s. Okay,
Yeah.
I have my last question, and it's completely lost my head. Okay, there we go.
That's gonna be another good GIF. It's completely lost. Oh yeah, that's gonna be great. That's gonna be a good GIF episode. I'm gonna have to pay attention here.
I was gonna, the question kind of goes like this: Did you ever, have you ever beaten the game using any of the glitches, like flying up the staircases or any of that stuff?
I haven't. I considered trying that because I've seen so many videos of them doing it, like just long jumping backwards up the stairs and things like that. I never even thought to attempt that. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest reason why is like I love the game so much, I wouldn't even want to skip levels. I really don't. Like,
right.
Sure, there's levels I hate. We talked about Rainbow Ride and things like that, but there's never been a lot. Oh, also other level. I hate when you unlock the red cap, the flying cap, and you have to get all the red coins in that level.
Oh, that's so fun.
I hated that. I don't know.
Hang on. Listen, I'm going to let you. I'm not really going to delete this. I'm going to delete this and let you insert water level, the swimming. Go ahead. You can say that.
No. Okay. So actually, one of my notes here talking about one of my favorite levels is the wet dry world. And I think
that one's fine. Yeah.
Okay, that's not as much swimming. I love that one though because of like it's like a giant puzzle. It's not just like going out and trying to find the stars. It's you're having to find which one to hit and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, not all like swimming, not all water is bad. Not all water.
But also that level, you have at some point, the level, the star will kind of tell you. But at some point, you have to take a leap of faith and start swimming through a tunnel that you can't see the other side of. And they're like it's like they're just daring you to do it, and you're like, I what if I go too far? Like, where am I going? And
anxiety through the roof.
There's a whole separate section there. But that first time, you don't know what's going. There might be a wall when you turn the corner there. You don't know.
Okay, but now hold on. What was your question again? I got off track there.
If you had beaten the game with any glitches.
Glitches. That's right.
Yeah.
I've never even really attempted them. I enjoy the game, and so I never even thought about trying to skip levels to get there. Even the levels I hate.
I did it once just to see because I was like, is it that hard to do? I never did the biggest one, so it's easy enough once you get upstairs. So if you beat the second Bowser, you can skip through the staircase to go to where like Clock Tower is.
Okay.
If you do it enough time, it happens. It's not hard to do. So I was like, let me try this. I did it, and then you can skip to kill the infinite staircase. So I did it once just to see like how hard is this? It's not terrible. You press A enough times, it'll happen, but you can't do it on the 3D All-Star Collection. I'm almost positive.
Interesting.
I'm almost positive they killed it, which because it's not on the 64, they just enhanced it and took out the little glitch. But I'm pretty sure you can't do it on that one.
Interesting.
And I swear the game runs better on the 3D All-Star Collection. Maybe that's in my head, but that's where I play, and I feel like it's like slightly better.
It probably does. I mean, I imagine it would. There's something, and I probably would be a little bit different if I could have snagged one of the N64 controllers for the Switch, but I don't know. It's something about plugging in the N64 controller and just playing with like the OG controller for sure.
Did you ever play the Nintendo DS version?
Yes and no. Have I ever beat the game on there? No. I never got into the handheld Nintendos past the Game Boy Advance SP days. Mm-hmm. So I never owned a DS until probably, it was probably about 8 years ago now. But I bought that because I got it from my cousin for cheap for like a Pokemon game because I love Pokemon. But so I never played any of those games other than like at my cousin's house. I tried it a few times and it was fun. But it's the handheld wasn't my favorite, honestly.
If they ever port that one, I'd be so happy because that was like 7th grade and I enjoyed it so much.
I'm saying I'm in the process currently of getting some modded things. Like I'm modding a Wii, and then I'm attempting to mod a DS, and so that'll probably be one of the games that will get put on there.
I'll say this here, and then I'll sound real dumb when this comes out after the Switch 2 Direct. the most exciting rumor I've read is the C button on the new Switch is in fact like a connection button, like to it's like to connect it to different stuff, and it'll connect to your regular Nintendo Switch, and then your Switch 1 will work as a second screen to do stuff and have like some and bring back kind of the Wii U concept.
Okay.
And turn your Switch 1 into a controller for the Switch 2.
Controller with a screen.
Yeah, it's just a Wii U.
Huh.
They're gonna bring the Wii U back.
That's what I read. Spend tomorrow going
real
through.
Stupid. When this comes out afterwards.
Well, no, the thing is, like, it's possible, and I have to spend tomorrow digging through their FCC filings.
That's what this is all coming out of. People reading all this stuff and the different patents and whatever that they're filing. That's literally the only information people are getting. It's just the FCC filings.
So the Wii U, that was actually a system that I had skipped originally.
I never played it.
I never had it. I never owned one.
Yeah.
I think I've played 2 games on the Wii U. My cousin had it. We played the Smash Bros. Game on there. And then actually just like a year and a half ago, I played the original Mario Kart 8 for like 2 races. And I was like, ugh, this is awful compared to Deluxe on the Switch. So that was it. That's the only Wii U games I've ever played, honestly.
I don't think I've even I've never touched a Wii U like controller.
I've never touched a Wii U. I've looked at it. That's it. I've only played Wii U games that have been ported to the Switch. That's it.
Yep. Same.
Yeah, for sure. Now, one last thing I want to say about Mario here. And we're switching games a little bit here to Sunshine. Because I will defend Sunshine until the end of days. I love that game. I love Flood. Like, it's such I love the game. And some of the levels that I find very entertaining and fun to do are the levels where Flood gets taken away.
You are just directly attacking Ray at this point. Like, this is, you're not even being subtle
it's not
about
the levels.
it now.
It's the levels are not the problem. I get it. It's platforming. It's super cool. It's where the game actually runs the smoothest. When you lose the Flood, which is fine. Like, I don't care if there's some like frame stuff, whatever, with games and it messes up. Like, I don't even notice that kind of stuff. My issue is that you built a game around a new system, which is great, but you can't beat the game unless you beat at least one level that doesn't use the system that you put in place for the whole game. That's like if Mario Odyssey said you can't beat this game unless you play a level that you don't use Cappy. Those Cappy turns into a normal hat for a level, and if you don't beat that level, you'll never beat Odyssey. It doesn't make any sense. It's just point. That's the only point.
Real subtle, Mamba. Real subtle there.
I couldn't not bring it up.
That's actually the issue. The game is actually fine. It's the mapping of how to beat it. That's my real problem. That's it.
That's actually one of the Mario games that I've never 100%ed.
You see,
because like the blue coins and like things like that. Like I don't know. There are certain components of those where I'm just like, nah, I don't have time for this. But I do absolutely love that game. But
just give me Luigi's Mansion to represent the GameCube. I'm good.
Oh, great
game. I
game.
played multiple times.
Great game.
Love it. All right, game number 2. It Takes Two. We're switching it up here. It Takes Two. Love it. Great game. Game of the year. Dude who makes the game is awesome. He's hilarious. French, anything from a French studio at this point. I'm just like, yeah, I'm in. I'm basically it like. France is doing 2 things great. They're making great games for some reason. They're like, that's just what they do, and they're really good at math. Like that's the 2 things that they're like number 1 in Fields medals, and they make great, and they have these great game studios. Like that's what they're doing here. Question number 1: Who's your number 2 in It Takes Two?
It is the wife.
Okay,
absolutely, Mamba, the better half. We'll just
and who do you have set characters?
So
or did you switch characters?
We had our set characters, and we would switch at times, mostly because she is not a big gamer. She used to play Mario Kart with me a decent amount. We had a couple friends we would play with. We got really into Overcooked 2. That's probably our all-time favorite game to play together. We still do run-throughs of that one. And then I was able to convince her to try It Takes Two. And this was her first try at like a platformer like type of game.
Yeah.
She grew up not really playing video games. And so she's never played these before. And so there'd be parts of the level where like she needed me to take over because like she just physically could not do it. And it was like getting to the point where she would probably get upset or mad if she kept going. But I was always, I mean, we started off, I was the guy, she was the girl, and we just stuck with it. Our next playthrough, which will probably be here after we do our current Overcooked 2 playthrough, we're going to switch roles just to kind of have some fun with it in that regard.
The girl, you know what? The mom in that game might have the more difficult platforming.
I agree.
She does.
She
Absolutely.
does, right?
I'm playing through with the kid now, and like,
I'm impressed with my wife as she's doing, because we go very slowly. You know, we might play once or twice a month, so we're still kind of going through it.
Mhm.
I'm super impressed at how well she does it.
I was like blown away, and it's like I feel weird saying this, but like I was like so proud of her watching her like play this game and like learn as we went.
It's not an easy game.
there's a
No,
lot of
it's
hand-eye
not.
coordination and successive button pushing you have to have. Like, I don't know how somebody who doesn't play games can pick that one up.
Yeah,
I mean, it's forgiving. Like, you don't have to worry about lives or anything. There's
Uh-huh.
that.
You can
but,
try
like,
as many times as you want, but still,
Yeah.
you have to hit it at some
it
point.
can be frustrating
and
though.
It was at times for her. The part I will never forget, my favorite part, I still bring this up and she laughs at it too, is we're running through and we're just running and we're getting to the parts where there's splitting platforms. You got to jump from platform to platform, and she struggled with that. But as we're running toward them, I look over at her side of the screen and her view is just herself running at herself.
Oh my god! Yes. Oh my god!
And she's sitting there running at her, and I just crack up laughing. And I'm like, babe, turn the view.
Turn
and
the
she's like,
camera.
what are you talking about? And
Turn
I'm
the
like,
camera.
oh my gosh.
Let me tell you,
This isn't Crash Bandicoot, honey.
no, it's so funny because we all been playing video games forever.
Mhm.
So the idea of turning your camera as
Yeah.
you play the move is second nature,
So
right?
second
Like
nature.
I never have to think about turning a camera.
No.
It doesn't matter what game it is, it just automatically happens. And then like I watched my son would play Breath of the Wild, and he's almost staring at the floor as he's running. And I'm like, kid, turn the camera. Like, when did I learn this skill? Because I need you
I
to
know.
learn it.
Mario 64. You learned
And
that Mario
I must
64.
have learned it. I must have learned it. And then my wife's playing, and she's like, "Do it." I was like, "Turn the camera." Like, you're making this so much harder right now.
It's actually even more impressive, like how well she was able to do while like looking
While not
straight up
looking.
at their ceiling.
All right, here's the point where I'm going to
constant
derail the
thing.
podcast to issue an apology for the Fall Guys quest in Fortnite this week, because the camera views are static and they're locked and they are terrible. And I tried it on both the Switch and the PlayStation, and I thought I was going to snap the right stick off of both controllers, trying to change the views that cannot be changed. So this is my formal apology for that. Just saying so I was playing it. I was like, oh, look, it's Fall Guys in Fortnite. Let's do that and have some fun. I'm sorry, everybody.
The camera just doesn't move. That's amazing.
We now resume this episode of blockmamba's podcast.
I'll say one more thing. Like my wife is not the direction follower because her role in this family is to give the directions, and that's totally fine. I'm very happy taking directions because I don't want to think anyway. But when it comes to the game, I have to be like, hey, do this, and she's can't follow the direct. Like if I go 1, 2, 3 jump, she's jumping on 2 or on 4. Like it can't. So I literally have to be like, all right, listen, just
Some
do
Monty
it on
Python
your,
sketch in the Ray
I'm
House.
telling, I'm like, just do it on your timing, and I'll just run it on your timing. So
One,
if it's like
two,
like whatever
5,
you do,
3,
I
sir,
tell her,
3.
I tell her, like, don't even count, because it's like change. It's like jump and change platform when you jump.
Yep.
Like just jump. The platform will be there when you land, and I have to I just run it on her time, because trying to tell her like 1, 2, 3 jump has never worked before.
Yeah, it was an experience. I mean, watching her try to learn how to like double jump
It's hilarious.
properly and things, it was fantastic.
It's hilarious. I love
but
it.
I don't think even throughout the whole thing, I don't think there was a single moment where like we got upset with each other or like she
No,
was
it's
getting
hilarious.
mad.
The game's just
It
fun.
was such a good game. This will be a throwback to our first podcast, and I know Dan did not approve, but Snipper Clips was the first game we played together other than Mario Kart, and we hated it. Hated it, hated it, hated it. Because all it did was get each other pissed off at each other because you're telling each other what to do. Go here, turn this way. No, turn that way. What do you do? Stop jumping. We hated it. We hated it, hated it. But then we moved on to and did Overcooked 2, which is super chaotic. And it could also be something you get so frustrated at each other. But we didn't. We loved it.
Overcooked results in more divorce than the game about a divorce. Yeah.
We loved that game. And so It Takes Two came right after Overcooked. And it kind of it's such a silly game. And so even though there was like frustrations for her with this being like one of her like first video games she played, it was so much fun. We had so much fun with it.
Do you remember a particular power set that you enjoyed? Because I actually think that's one of the best parts of the game. Like every section is essentially a new game.
It is. I was thinking back through because it's been a while since we played this. Because this was actually the game that I marked on my first podcast was looking forward to. Was It Takes Two? Because it was already out, but it wasn't out for the Switch. And at that time, I have some games on Steam and things. It's just not the same. Both of us trying to sit down here by the computer and play a game together versus chilling on the couch upstairs. And so when it came to the Switch, we got it, played through it, loved it. So I was trying to think back to the levels. There were so many that were good. I did enjoy it's not bees, wasps, the wasp levels with like the sticky like the gun that like explode stuff and things like that. We really enjoyed that level, and I thought that was a lot of fun skill set, except we hated fighting the Queen Wasp, which turned out not to be the Queen Wasp, but we hated that level. I don't know, it was so like just the same thing, grinding around and just shoot. And I think part of it was she struggled at that level, and so it was me trying to like do it on my own, and that one did get a little frustrating, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's tough because you can't do it on your, like, again, it's
can't.
Because
you can't.
Because doesn't the sap or whatever it is dissolve too if it takes too long? Like if you're not,
I think so.
If you're not close behind,
yes,
again, like the kid and I played that a couple weeks ago, and like that one was still tough because it's also not very clear about like what are you supposed to shoot in that grinding part either.
And as you're grinding, like you have to jump over things, and so she's trying to like
change your camera angle and shoot and it's like a full skill attack. Yeah,
it was. And so that was probably our hardest level to beat. Took us the longest time. That was frustrating for her, having to, like I said, change her camera angle while trying to focus on like aiming and hitting what she's supposed to hit, while also jumping over things and watching out for other wasps coming to attack her. That one, we had to put the controllers down a couple of times on that one for different reasons, but yeah, very much so.
That's why they give you unlimited tries, because like this is a skill-based game. You have to put things together. It's funny. Mine is the complete opposite of my wife. Is where you get magic powers, so you get the fire and ice, and the game goes from platforming to like hack and slash, sort of the 3/4 camera view. And I was like, this is so fun. I love this. Like, this is great. And she's like, why are we doing this? She does not like the shooting and fighting stuff. She's like, can we go back to jumping on things where it's like calm? Like, why are we fighting all these things? I was like, oh, I love this. Is amazing.
I do think just that aspect of the game though, where like every world was so different. Like you're outside in the garden, you're up in like the space area, you're doing all these different, like, it was so different. It felt like so many different kind of games put together. And I did really enjoy that. We both did, but me specifically.
Yeah, no, it's just great. Yeah. What's the last thoughts? What are the final thoughts on this one?
For me, my only downside with this game, it's not horrible. Kind of the theme of the game and then the language in the game is a potential issue for playing with like kids. That's obviously a determination you will have to have. Like, when is your kid at a good age where they can have these conversations about divorce and, the language, the cursing that comes up throughout there. That's a potential issue. Not, like I said, not horrible, but definitely something to keep in consideration. And I'll be honest, the elephant section just felt so crazy, where you're just trying to complete. I mean, I won't give it away. Yeah. People have played it, but that elephant section was like, it hits you. You're like, oh my gosh, what are we doing right now?
Yeah. And they kind of say it every step of the way.
I know. And I'm like, as a parent, I'm like, oh, this hurts me. This hurts me what we're trying to do to our child.
All right, but before It Takes Two wraps, I'm gonna here comes the soapbox dragged over again. I don't know how we don't have more duels with the It Takes Two head-to-head challenges that happen throughout the game. This is my call to people. Those should be challenges between people on the site to see who could go best of 5 or who could go best of 3 in the various little head-to-head challenges. Not the whack-a-mole. That one's just stupid. But the other ones...
You'll have to remind me, how easy is it to go find those challenges?
I was like, can you go back to them?
You know what I have? You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't know whether there's something you can just pull up from the boot up screen or what.
You might be able to. I don't know. There might be like a setting on the menu where you can go to some of those duel games.
I haven't looked because we're only about like 2/3 of the way through the game, I think. So I have not gone back. Like, this is actively being played right now by my son and I, and we're at the elephant part, which is also just like you said, it's a kick in the teeth and like.
It really is. Have either of you played with like the Friends Pass?
I've not done remote yet. I've only done in person. Yeah,
I think it's like a cool concept. I just have never.
I'm terrified of you for the Switch with that too. I got the game for my brother with the Switch, but he just played with his kids in person. I don't even know. Like, I'm sure the Steam or PlayStation version can like manage. I don't know what the Switch is going to do. But it also seems like they took their time and they waited a while before they did it. So maybe they had it under control and has the same Friends Pass on the Switch. I don't know.
It's I need to try it at some point. I was going to do it play with my cousin. He's in Wisconsin right now. But then now he's playing it with his girlfriend, so I kind of lost that opportunity. So I'll have to wait and find another friend to play it with sometime.
We'll report back later. Oh, go ahead.
Yes,
go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, no. I'll report back later. The last thing I was gonna say on the game is, one of the reasons I love this game so much is like my wife, and we'll get to this later with talking about a board game later on, but she's not like a solo player. She will never play a video game by herself. It just won't happen, and that's fine. So like anytime there's a multiplayer game where you're playing together on a team, like I will jump all over that. And so we have a couple in our backlog that we're going to try. Like I think there's was it the Unravel games?
Unravel and Unravel 2.
Yeah. We're going to attempt those at some point. I think I have those on Steam. And so that's what really sold this game was it's multiplayer. You're working together. And we jumped on it and zero regrets. Zero regrets.
There's another one on Steam that's goes on sale a bunch, and I know this because I just bought it so that I can play it in like 2 years when I finally get around to it. Where is this game at?
Is it No Way? Is it their other game? Is it Hazlight's other game with No Way Out? Because that's also referenced in It Takes Two. Like I don't know if you guys found that Easter egg either. In like the pillow fort, there's a like the two statues of that also curse you out when you're
doing it too. They are hilarious.
Right. They are.
Degrees of Separation was one I just got.
Okay.
And I got it for cheap. It was it was like a 2019 game. Same concept. Yeah, same concept. One person's kind of an ice person, one's a fire person.
Another one we looked into and she did not look thrilled, and so we did not jump on it. Was it called Grounded? Is that or
that's the one we were playing like Honey I Shrunk the Kids basically.
Yeah, and there's like giant spiders and ants and things, and she saw like the fighting component and she was just like zero interest. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's a little more survivally. I haven't cracked that one yet, but it looks a lot more survivally. All right, well let's move on to your third-ish game with Miss Pac-Man. And did you also try to sneak Mappy Land in here?
Oh, I for sure jumped Mappy in here.
Because I'm like, we got 4.2 rated Miss Pac-Man. We get and the 1.7 rated Mappy Land. Yeah, Mappy Land.
Okay, time out though. Mappy, I think Mappy Land, if I'm not mistaken, is the sequel. I don't know if we have Mappy in the library actually. Because I tried to tag it the other day and I was like, I don't think we have this, which as a librarian, I need to add it, but I just haven't had time.
Yeah, 1983's Mappy, not Mappy Land, but Namco, because you got the 1-up machine, and that's probably, I didn't look to see what the yes, in the background as pointed to in the audio medium, but all these 1-ups also come with like some bonus games. So I guess Mappy, since it's Namco, also popped in on Miss Pac-Man there. So I guess I figure this is a family conversation here again, but I remember you were kind of putting some feelers out there about the 1-up machines, and you were like, hey, who's got one? What do you like? So which came first? Were you trying to get specifically the Miss Pac-Man Namco machine, or was it just kind of like, hey, this is the one I was able to find? Because you can find these things on clearance for a good price.
You can
if you're on the lookout.
Well, yeah, okay. I'll talk about that first. And so I actually, from school, I had a student who left one of those little one-up arcade things that are like 8 inches high, and it's a little mini arcade cabinet, and it's Miss Pac-Man. And the joystick is like 1/2 inch tall. Like the screen is 2 inches. Like it's super tiny. And so I brought that home because I loved Miss Pac-Man growing up. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, but I loved Miss Pac-Man. I still do. It's probably one of the games that like I was the best at. And so I brought this little like mini arcade cabinet home to my son, and he just fell in love with the game. And so we played it a ton. He like, anytime we allowed him to have screen time, he was like, can I play Miss Pac-Man? Can I play Miss Pac-Man? And so I also have the Namco collection on like the N64. So we broke that out a little bit.
Great collection.
It's such a good collection.
Great collection.
I mean, you got Miss Pac-Man, you have Dig Dug, which another just solid game. And so I broke that out, and he played it some, but like the N64 controller for like a 5-year-old is just not ideal. And so he preferred the little cabinet. And so we're sitting there, and then I just happened to see the Miss Pac-Man 1-Up Arcade on Walmart clearance for like $225. And I was like, this seems too good to be true. And it also comes with like 12 other games. It comes with, it's got like Galaga, Galaxian, Dragon Buster, Rompers, Dig Dug 1 and 2, and then like Pac-Man Plus, Pac-Land, Super Pac-Man, Pac and Pow, Pac-Mania. So many Pac-Man games I didn't even know existed, which I have now put so many hours into since my son has fallen in love with it. But yeah, I reached out about this machine, and I know Dan had mentioned that I think you guys have.
I got the Rampage one that's got
Rampage,
like Joust in it, and some others. It's like a midway one, but same thing. It was cheaper than that on clearance. And I was like, in the car you go. Yeah.
My wife was like, again, not against it, but she's like, we don't need that. And I was like, you're right. You're
absolutely right, honey. We don't. I don't care, but here we are.
And then everyone on Channel 3 was like, yes, absolutely. And then I think Teets like reached out. He was like, where are you finding this? Like, I can't find it. Like, where's this link at? And I got back on. I'm like, you know what? I'm buying it. I get on, sold out. I'm like, oh my God, I was so mad at myself. And so I kept checking every day. And then 2 days later, it popped up in like a store like 20 minutes away. And I was like, done, bought it. And it's been one of the greatest decisions that I have made in the last 10 years.
Once you assembled it, it was the greatest decision.
It was. Well, and funny enough, we bought it. We bought it the weekend that my brother was going in to have surgery for his colon cancer. And so me and my sister and her family, we got a hotel for the weekend just to spend as a family, just hang out, get our minds off things, and just kind of have some family time. And so we went to pick it up on that weekend. We had it for we didn't even put it together. We took it home, dropped it off, went back to the hotel. And my sister and my brother-in-law were like, where'd you get that? And we told them, and they went out and bought it the next day. So my niece and nephews have this at their house too. So like we get double Miss Pac-Man whenever they come here, whenever we go there. But yeah, I would highly recommend if you find one of those like good sales, absolutely. I'm going to keep looking, and I'll probably end up down the road getting another one or something. They're just such a cool little machine.
Well, especially because, like you said, a bunch of them, like, you're not just getting the one game, you're getting like 12 other arcade games that are like old school, classic, Midway, Namco, whatever.
Like, I don't know if you guys have ever played or heard of Dragon Buster before. I never have.
I haven't played it. Nope.
I never have. And my son is obsessed right now, and he's like getting good at it. And like, he's 5 and he's getting good at this game. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're playing Dragon Busters. Now it's Rompers. Never heard of it before. You're pushing walls over on little monsters. We play a boatload of Rompers in this house now. So it's been a really cool machine for sure.
Wow. Dragon Buster was just straight up. They were just like straight up trying to go after Dragon's Lair with the artwork. Huh?
Yeah. And dude, if you play it, it's a really freaking hard game because like there's no tutorial. You have no idea what's happening. You're just slashing your way through these dungeons, and some of these guys hit you, and your guy's just bouncing up in the air. You can't even get on the ground, and you just die. And you're like,
it's a quarter sucker at the same time. Like, remember, this game is not designed to be fun. It's designed to be fun enough to keep sucking quarters out of you. Yeah.
Yeah. But we definitely bought the machine because it was Miss Pac-Man. So I'll go back to the beginning. Miss Pac-Man and Mappy, actually both of them The first time I ever played them was on one of those plug and play arcade things. You plug into like the AV cables in the back of your TV.
Yeah, it's like a little joystick. It's the joystick with the game in it, basically. Yeah.
So it was at my aunt and uncle's house in Iowa City, where we actually, funny enough, right as we're filming this, we were just there this weekend, and my son got to play the little joystick one that I played when I was his age. And so it had Ms. Pac-Man and Mappy on it. And so that was the first experience I had with those games. And I had played Pac-Man before, but Ms. Pac-Man, in my opinion, is 100 times better than the Pac-Man game. They took everything from Pac-Man and just made it better.
They hacked the physical machine to do that. Yes,
they did. And it's just everything about it. Like, you have the multiple warp tunnels on the side to escape versus just the one in the middle. You have the moving fruit versus the fruit just sitting there underneath where the ghosts are. And it's the changing levels there's like 3 different levels that you progress through that physically change the layout. You have to learn new levels. And I don't know if you guys have ever read the book Ready Player One.
Oh yes.
If you haven't, whoever's listening, if you haven't, if you love video games, it is such a great book.
You could tear through it too. It's not a hard read either. It's
not a hard read. If you're not a reader, get on Audible. Will Wheaton narrates this book, and he's incredible. And so it's Miss Pac-Man is used in that game. Like, he plays a perfect game of Miss Pac-Man.
That gets an important item. Yes.
He gets a very important item that helps him out later. And so just this game has been such a huge part of my life for like Miss Pac-Man. It's like, since then we had the Namco on the N64. We've done all these different things. And so Miss Pac-Man has been such a huge part of my life as like the gaming aspect. And so like having my son like share that with me, that's kind of the way I sold my wife on this machine. Was we're building like these bonding moments that like hopefully years to come, we can come back to these moments and remember them. And hopefully 10 years from now, when, kids don't want to hang out with their dad, hey, maybe we'll still have Miss Pac-Man. You never know.
There's no way you saw coming either. Your son setting up a blanket maze and
oh my gosh, dude,
Pac-Man game. Like, I don't get, like, there's just something about kids that, like, even if they do not make a toy for a game, they will act out a game. They will. Yours was far more into it than I've ever seen, as far as like he set up the blankets to make a maze. I've seen kids doing like the wah 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 wah, and like we probably did stuff like that when I was a kid too. But like he was in it.
He was, and we try to be fairly selective with how much screen time we give to him. Just he's 5. He doesn't need to be playing 8 hours of video games a day. And so he'll ask, "Okay, we play Miss Pac-Man?" And we're like, "No, not right now. We're not playing right now." And he's like, "No, I mean out here. Can we play Miss Pac-Man?" I was like, "Sure, I guess. How do you want to do that?" And he's like, starts laying out like empty, oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking. Wrapping paper rolls, empty wrapping paper rolls, pillows, blankets. And he's making all these mazes. And then he gets his bucket of bouncy balls, lays out all the bouncy balls in there. And he has big bouncy balls in the corners where they turn the goat. And he thought of everything. He built a little home for the ghost to start in. And we go at it. Like, it was incredible. And it's one of those things. He's like showed it to his cousins, and his cousins had a blast with it. And so like seeing that come to life was like a whole nother level. It was like, oh my gosh, kid, this is awesome.
So where does Mappy come into this?
Okay. So Mappy, again, on that plug and play, it was on the original plug and play with Miss Pac-Man. And so that was the first time I played it. And it's such an interesting game. I had to dig into this one a little bit. And so like the name Mappy, it's a Japanese game, and it's like the Japanese slang for policeman. So you're playing a police mouse who's recovering stolen goods. So there's like radios, TVs, and things like that. It's been stolen. And you're getting chased by like these cats. And there's like a bunch of little like pink cats that run around. And then there's like one big red cat who's called I'm going to butcher it. I think it was a Goro. And he's just running around. He's not trying to chase you, but he can still get you. And he's very fast. And so you're just jumping on trampolines, trying to collect items without getting caught by these cats as you're recovering stolen goods. It's such a weird game. And I fell in love with it then. I hadn't played it for years, and it came on this 1UP arcade machine, and the kid fell in love with it. And so like, I've been playing a ton of it again, and I'm still like learning new things. Like just the other day, I learned that randomly I'd get an item and it'd be blinking, and I would get double the points. And I was like, I have no idea what just happened. Well, then I learned that every stolen good, there's 2 of them, 2 radios. And if you get them back to back, you get double points. And there's like these magical doors. I don't know what they are exactly. You open them and it shoots out like the sound waves. And if it catches the cat, you get points. Well, if you also capture the red Goro cat, you get double points for all the cats you captured with that door. And so there's so many different like things I'm learning here. Like it's crazy the amount of strategy in this game that I thought was just this mouse jumping around on trampolines. But the thing that I think has captured me the most is like when I play with my son, we call him the doorman. He sits there and presses the button to open doors, and I'm doing all the running around. And so like I'll be going towards the door and I'll be like, door, door, door. And he'll hit the button, open the door, and we'll keep going. And so playing it like multiplayer has been such a cool experience. And like he plays by himself as well. And like I've posted some videos of him like getting to the 2nd level and then the 3rd level, and he's just losing his mind. He's so happy and so proud of himself. Like it's just been such a cool experience to see that. But yeah, I know I'd highly recommend it. It's one of those old arcade games. It's fun, it's silly, but it's a skill level. I made it to level, I think 14 today is like as far as I've made it. And we're looking at the top scores and like, I think they're cheaters, but there's people who've made to like level like 6,785. And I'm like, ain't no way. I'm sorry. Illegitimate. Not possible.
The memory had to have run out on that thing by then.
I
Like
know.
the game would have crashed by then.
Yeah.
No one has time for that.
Not in 1983 they didn't do that.
But no, I'd highly recommend. I've never played Mappy Land, which is the sequel, which has very bad reviews.
It's terrible.
Apparently
Yeah.
nobody. Apparently you should.
I've watched some videos. I may have tried to play it once. I can't even remember. But the first one, Mappy, solid game. I would 100% recommend it. But my son is loving it. That's really the reason that like it's made this list today. Miss Pac-Man and Mappy, they're great games, but like playing them with my son has been a really cool experience. That's one thing. If back to my first show and this show, for me, like gaming is an experience to do with family, with friends. Like that's what I enjoy. I love first like 1-player games. I still play them, but the social aspect is really what holds me in games right now. And so being able to play with my son, with my wife, that's kind of a running theme in all these games you're seeing and going to continue to see.
Well, that's a great transition to your honorable mentions, because now we're gonna talk about how this ties in then, because your honorable mention number 1 is The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, which by the way, I gotta say it's got a strong 4.7 on the site so far. I was surprised. I know there's a lot of commentary about some repetitiveness and some of a lot of beds in the game. Yep. Okay. But I know there are a lot of us that were happy to just have an old school 2D Zelda experience back. But okay. So I wanted to ask, because I've been kind of wondering, like, okay, so how's this tie in here?
So this game wasn't really even on my radar when it first came out. It didn't really pique my interest. I never was a huge fan of the 2D Zelda games. Like that was my first Zelda game was like Ocarina, Majora's Mask. Like those were my Zelda games. And so I know like, Jedi's on here and he's a staunch defender of the 2D Zelda.
Well, Ocarina is just a 2D Zelda game they made 3D. It's still linear. Like
yes,
it
is linear. Yeah. It is. It just the play style of just how it looks. Even like the remake of Link's Awakening, I still haven't played it. I probably will now after doing Echoes.
That one's short too. That's a Game Boy game, so that one's pretty easy to bang out.
And I think I'll probably bring that out because I think my son he could get into that one as well. But the first thing that actually got me onto this game was it was in the prize counter on Channel 3. And I was like, I had been looking for a game to like play with my son as like the first game we played together, not Miss Pac-Man, but like an actual game. And so it was on there and I was like, you know what? Like I'll do some quests. I'll get there. And if I get it, then I'll give it a try. Because I know a few other people on the site had bought it, had played it, had talked about it. I think Ganon Slayer had played it with his kids and some other people have been playing with their kids. I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. So I was able to grab it. And so now it's typically our Sunday afternoon after his rest time, he gets up and we get to play Zelda together. And he's just absolutely loving it. And so that's definitely why it made this list. For me, I think I've rated it a 4-star on Channel 3. Some of the gameplay, I would actually go lower. Honestly, I think I'd probably put it a 3-star.
Yeah, there's a lot of repetitive.
There is.
Yeah.
There's throughout the whole thing, there's some decent puzzles. Like there's some actually challenging puzzles that I'm sitting there having to actually use my brain about. My son's just like come on, just go do that. And I'm like, give me a second. I got to figure this one out.
It needs more than a bed. I got to think about it. My brain's been shut down.
Funny enough, like what is my most used item right now in that game? It's the bed. Like it's the bed and the water squares. And so it kind of goes back to the same issue I had with like Tears of the Kingdom or some of these other games where there's probably some things that are better or you're supposed to do, but I just get good with a couple of things and I just repeat the heck out of it because I'll just make it work. I'll make it work. And so my issue with the game is there's way too many echoes. And so trying to find the echoes I actually want to use.
No good organization method. The sorts, recent, alphabetical, or most used. Like that's like, not. Let me file some of these away that I'm never going to use. Let me file my attacks under one folder. Yeah.
Let me make an attacks. Let me make a climb, whatever. My 10 favorites. I don't care. I use the most used. I have like my 3 or 4 that I use most often, and that's fantastic. But then every once in a while I'm like, oh, I need to start a fire. Scroll. Okay. Oh, I need this. Scroll. And it's just, it's so repetitive. And my son's just sitting there like, come on, Dad, let's play. And I'm like, dude, I have to find this. Like, I have to. I'm sorry.
There's also a true Zelda fashion of just like, the thing you just got is probably what you need also. So it's always jumping between my most used and the most recent.
Most
I'm like,
recently acquired.
Well, I know I'm going to need that. Whatever that statue was there, I'm going to need that to solve a puzzle here. I know that much.
It is. And so that's like my number one issue with it is this the repetitive and the amount of echoes.
Indefensible.
The customization.
Yeah.
The second component is the battling component. It gets a little tiresome at times because I feel like half the time I put my echo out there and then I just have to stand and just wait. And just kind of wait. And then if that one dies, I have to throw another one out there. Or maybe I'll go search and add a bat on top of this because I have an extra power. Or it seems like a lot of standing around and waiting, which isn't, again, super fun with the 5-year-old. He's sitting there and he's like, why don't you go do this? And I'm like, well, I have to wait until this guy defeats this guy and we'll just wait till it happens.
Yep. That's not unfair, but so did he enjoy it overall though?
He does. We're about probably about halfway. He does enjoy it. He loves running around and cutting grass. That's his favorite thing. He just spins around in the grass, and then an enemy shows up, and he's like, "Take the controller! I don't know what to do." Which again is kind of one of my other issues. Is I wish the magic power where you can attack it just goes so fast. I wish you could have it last a little longer because then I feel like he could then start to like go hit the Y button. But he can't sit there and be like, okay, hold this button, scroll through, let's find this guy. Okay, hit Y.
It's a lot of hand-eye coordination for that. A lot of multiple coordinations for that.
Yeah, the battling component, he can't do it on his own, which is fine. That's where I kind of just take over. And so, but even with all of those issues, I still rate it as a 4-star. It's got a solid story. There's some solid puzzles, solid components, and the kid's having a blast with it. And so, like, there's no complaints from me when it comes to that.
And he has no nostalgia tied up in it either. That's the thing I wonder about.
Yeah, there's not. And so that was interesting to me. Like, I'll be honest, I never had a huge interest in like, I want a Zelda game where I can play as Zelda. It just never really was a thought in my mind. I know some people have talked about like with their daughters, like this is a really cool experience. And I'm like, that's awesome. I just never was even a thought to me. But it has been a different experience and I have enjoyed it. Although, like, I've played as Zelda before. Like, we've played Smash Bros. I've played as Sheik. Like, I've played a game as Zelda before. It's not the same, though.
And now we go on. Honorable mention number 2 is Fortnite. It's that game that you've played it a few times.
I've played it a bit. I was just looking at my hours played the other day and made me a little sad, actually. But we won't go into that. Don't go down that road. But.
So we don't know.
There are no lawyers or cops involved. Don't let Ray ask this question.
Well, I can't. I also don't have an exact number because when I first started playing this was back on PS4. I actually went out and bought a PS4 to play Fortnite with my friends back before chapters, before seasons. It all confuses me. I'll be honest. It was back in was it season 2 at the very beginning of the game is when I first started playing. Back before creative ruined the game, back before all this other stuff. It was back in the OG days. And so I got it on the PS4, played a ton of it. And then the building just got crazy. And my friends are like, you need to go practice. And I'm like, I refuse to go practice editing to play a game. I just want to play a game. And so that I stopped playing for the longest time. And then Channel 3 started doing party nights. and I started playing. And at that moment, all I had was a Switch because I had then sold my PS4. And so I was playing on my Switch, and that was just, I don't know how people do it. it's so bad.
It got rough.
It is. And so shout out to Buster, because we play and he plays on his Switch and he holds his own on a Switch. Even though his glider doesn't deploy half the time, but he holds his own. But Channel 3 Party Nights got me back into it. And that's, at that time there was Zero Build and I had never done it before. And so we tried Zero Build and I instantly fell in love again, because like I missed the building component. That's what made Fortnite to begin with. And so I do like the building, and I still do builds every once in a while when GG Shadow hops in and always makes me run at least one with him. But I Zero Build made me love the game again. And so I've definitely now on my PC, like I have well over 1,000 hours on my PC. When you add in the original Fortnite on the PS4 days, it scares me. I'll just put it that way.
You still playing this every night? This is like an every night thing. You go and you play a few rounds.
This is like, honestly, right now, we're probably at about 4 nights a week. I'm hopping on and playing, currently playing with Malfurious and Buster are kind of the two I'm playing with now. The squad is ever changing, but that's our kind of our trio that we've been playing. And Darth Smeagol was in there as well. We play about 4 nights a week, get on about, I guess, probably 10 o'clock Central Time, whatever time that is for the rest of you guys, doesn't matter, but 10 o'clock God's time. And we'll play for a couple hours, about 4 nights a week. And I just can't stop playing. I don't know. I try to stop. I'm like trying to play other games and things like that. And I can't seem to stop. I get to the end of the day. I'm like, what are we going to play? And I was like, just give me a baseball bat. Let me go hit some people off a mountain. Like, let's just get at it here.
So is it never, is this like never a solo experience for you? Is it always a group?
I will not play. I do not play solos. I have not played solos. Even back in the original days, I never played solos. In fact, the only time I ever have played solos the last couple years is when there's like a quest I had to do for like most solo eliminations. I hated doing it, but like I have a couple monitors here. I'll throw up King of Queens on Peacock and just watch King of Queens while I'm running around on there. And like, I was like, hey, I could do this for a couple rounds. No, Fortnite is solely, again, so much of my gaming is to hang out with people. And that's one of the reasons I don't feel as bad about the hours I've spent on it is, 1, I don't play when my wife is awake, and 2, I don't play when my son is awake. And so once they go to bed, then I get on and play. But it's not just me playing games. That's when I get to hang out with friends. That's when I get to grow relationships with people that I don't get to see every day. And so I don't play solos. In fact, I'll get on to play. No one's on. I'll be like, okay, hopping off. I'll go read a book or something. And so, yeah, it's definitely a social aspect for me playing through the game, not a solo experience at all.
All right. So now the game itself. So, cause you've played since basically the beginning and seen the changes, you're not a fan of creative mode. What about creative mode? Just like, so you only want to play like battle royale or reloaded, right? You don't do any of the extra stuff. Is it like any of the fancy kind of things that come up with, or just like the people, red versus blue, let's go build a bunch of stuff and fight?
I would say 95% of the time it's Zero Build battle royale. Like, that's what I want to play. I want to go. And part of it is these battle royales to me have ruined a lot of online multiplayer games, just because
I would agree.
Like, I played a ton of Call of Duty back in the day, Modern Warfare 2, all this. I loved it. When Warzone came out, I played a ton of Warzone. I went back and tried to play the online just COD, and it's like, oh, cool, I won that round. Don't care. Like, I died 17 times. It didn't feel like I won that game. Mm-hmm. And so these battle royales, I love them, but they almost have kind of like ruined other multiplayer games for me. But that's a whole different conversation. But I love the battle royale game. That's what I love to play. With that being said, I'll jump in every once in a while. I'll jump in with some students and we'll do some like 1v1s, or we'll do some things like that. I had a couple months ago, they were talking smack about being better. And I was like, okay, you know what? Here, I'll go invite one of my buddies. We'll go play. And like, okay, cool. So I get on my phone. I text GG Shadow and I'm like, hey, what are you doing right now? I'm like, you want to get on Fortnite? And he's like, I'm walking downstairs. And so he hops on And it was a bloodbath. I could just sit back and just do nothing, and Shadow just went out and took care of them.
That borders on child abuse, what you just did there.
Well, and then the entire time they're sitting there like popping up like the game chat, like send a message, and they're just like, "What? How old is this? Who is this? How old is this person?" And Gigi would be like, "Hey, I'm like 32 and have kids. Like, like that's who you're losing to right now. What? Do you even work? Yeah, I got a full-time job. Work." So that was a ton of fun. So we did a few nights in a row of like playing some like builds, 0 builds, like 2v2s, things like that. So I'll jump into those every once in a while. I did a couple of the Only Up or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, I'll do those every once in a while. But like if I'm hopping on Fortnite, like I want to do Battle Royale. Unless it's something like we have set up, like if people want to do some custom zone wars, things like that, I'll do periodically, and it's fun. But it's just not. I will say, when we were doing these zone wars the other day with some students in GG Shadow, there was one game where I ended up winning like a few of them in the builds ones. And so I'm like, when you beat GG Shadow in a builds match, whether he's given 100% or not, we won't discuss that part of it. You beat him in a builds match, like, okay, that felt pretty good too.
What are your thoughts on just all the collaborations that Fortnite does?
It's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much. Here's my thing. The last time I probably played with you guys were back during party nights. I guarantee I'm using the exact same skin. I'm using the Black Lynx cat skin. It does not change. I don't do skins. Even Fall Guys. Like I never put a skin on in my entire life playing Fall Guys. Fortnite, I don't go for cosmetics. I go for what gives me the best advantage. And so give me as small as possible, as dark as possible. Let me do that. And so there's so many collaborations where it's like, oh, hey, Miss Incredible, I don't want to play as you in Fortnite. So I guess cool for you guys. I tried the Ninja Turtles. I bought it. I played one game of it. It was huge. And I was like, I hate this. And I couldn't return it. And so now I'm stuck with a Ninja Turtle. The one thing I do like, the collaborations are kind of cool. You got the Star Wars. You have these different collaborations. It's kind of fun. It's a crazy good business model. I mean, these things cost them absolutely nothing to do, and everyone's just making a ton of money off of it. And so kudos to them for that. But I don't jump over the collaborations, the skins, the all these things. They added a truck the other day, and I bought it because I have so many V-Bucks because I never spend them on anything. And I'm like, this will be cool. But it's like the freaking Cybertruck where the two people have to sit in the back and they're just out in the open. So I'm like, return. I'm all about tactical advantage and not cosmetic.
That is, let me say, I love the collabs. Like when Fortnite does like their own skins now, I'm just like, I don't care.
I don't care
about your original stuff. Can you give me the series that I want so I can run around?
I will say, talk about collaborations. The Doctor Doom, the Doom Island, was probably one of my favorite things in recent seasons. Cool. And every time it came up, we would go there, and our squad, we won almost 100% of those games. Because if you beat the island, that's pretty much all the good players in the match, and so it's pretty easy from that point on. But so there have been some really cool collaborations. Some of the Marvel stuff with like the backpacks and War Machine, like there's some really cool things. So I do enjoy those collaborations. The skins just don't get me excited because I don't change skins ever.
Do you like all the changes for Fortnite? Like, you can sprint and you can swim, and now you can jump and roll if you jump from too high. How do the changes feel to you for the game?
I do like them. I do like how they're trying to continue. They have to try to keep pushing it forward and make those changes to keep it relevant. Some of the changes I don't like. I mean, the one where you can like jump kick off the wall, I hate it because there's so many times where I'm trying to like mantle up a wall, and instead I'm jumping backwards, and I end up dying because I'm jumping backwards instead of going over the wall. And so there's some of those things where I have scoured these settings trying to turn it off, and you cannot. But I do like a lot of the changes. I just don't like how they do them sometimes. Like a few seasons back, they brought the mod benches in, and you could put different mods on your weapons. I didn't like it at first. Then you get used to it. Then you become dependent on it. And then the next season, they're like, you know what? Mod benches, they're gone now. You don't get to use them anymore. Like, we'll just throw some random scopes on random guns you pick up. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, why you get us used to this and then you just take it away? And so that's been I don't know, not my favorite component of making some of those changes.
Adapt or die and quit whining, Ninja. I don't want to hear it.
That's what it is, though. And so, like, even like driving a vehicle, like it started out as a glitch with like the pickaxe glitch, where they hop in and they can just pickaxe you. And then Fortnite is like, you know what? We like this glitch. We'll just keep it. And that just pisses me off so much. Like, just fix it. It's not that hard. Just fix it. But whatever.
That's so good. I was gonna say really quick, Ray, because Ray, you got really into Fortnite. I went hard for a
and
while.
then you tapered off, and then you went into builds for a season. You were like,
I'm
going hard.
I played all builds. I don't even know why I did it, but I did. No, I know why I did it, because at the end, like, I played Fortnite before Zero Build happened, and at the end of the day, like building was
100%.
the big change for Fortnite.
100%.
Right? Every other battle royale was just a different skinned version of shooting stuff, and you get some abilities or whatever. But Fortnite was, it's a whole separate skill set to have. And so I wanted to play it. I think I played some OG or something too, and remembered that the map doesn't make sense to play.
It's so bad
on Zero Builds. Like,
it's so bad on Zero Builds.
It's big. It's all open space because it's just supposed to be room for you to build things.
Yeah.
And there are just canyon walls that you can't do anything about, and you're going to die
over them.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. I agree with you on the builds, and that's one of the reasons I hated creative so much. Is that's when building, like, you had a bunch of 8-year-olds just could go build for hours upon hours, and you couldn't practice editing because you were doing it in the middle of a game.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone was roughly the same skill level. But once people could start practicing, and I was not going to practice, I just got left behind. And so that's where the building kind of tapered off for me. But I still love it because it is what makes Fortnite. So yeah, I agree.
For sure. Yeah, I've my Fortnite now. What I realized, I think I might have said this actually in the last podcast we recorded, that I don't actually love battle royales. It's not my style of game. Fortnite is the exception. Oh, that's what I said on Wednesday. That's why I said it. Fortnite's just an exception to the rule. Like, I just think the game is so well done.
Mm-hmm.
Battle royales overall is just not my thing. I prefer a team shooter. So, like, Marvel Rivals came out, and it's just been my entire life. Fortnite now is I'm tutoring online, so I'm on Zoom. It's on one screen, and I have an AFK map on the other screen, and I have like 80 something levels through the battle pass. 65 of those levels are AFK grinding on a rail as I'm doing math on the other screen. Like that's just happened. Like, this season, that just happens. What it be? Yeah, what it's been.
Yeah,
that's my Fortnite now, because my Marvel Rivals is everything I do, and I get mad at that game.
I just couldn't get into Rivals. I tried it a little bit. I was never a huge Overwatch fan, and so it was not for me. That's for sure. But I have heard very good things about it. So
it's next level. I just like it so much.
The Captain America defamation that was happening in the Rivals chat today was not acceptable to me.
He's not. I'm sorry. It's correct. He's not. Here's the thing with Marvel Rivals. No. Here's the thing with Marvel Rivals is there are definitely characters that are not the best.
Mm-hmm.
Like Captain America, if you want to dive and try to get the backline as a tank, you might as well play Venom. You might as well play Hulk or like they're better ones. But the way the Rivals devs basically choose to not balance things is that you could really dominate with any character if you're just that good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there's any character that's really like has no chance. Like, there's somebody who could play the character. There's just not as many. Like, it's harder to be good at it. But I've seen it. I got Captain America, so I'll go crazy. The only exception is like Black Widow. There's like one good Black Widow every 1,000 people you play. She's terrible. Sniping is just not. It's not a thing in this game. Even if they're good at it, like you might have Black Widow and she might have 40 kills, and 35 of them are meaningless. Like she just won't affect the game. You're like, oh, she shot me. All right, she's like 100 feet back and doing nothing anyway. She just doesn't affect the game much. Captain America don't can affect the game. Most of the tanks can affect the game.
Yeah, except for when Iron Fist just comes up trying to smack you. You're like, nah, go ahead. You just keep doing it. My boy over here is going to shoot you.
You have to deal with it. Iron Fist, you got to deal.
You brought up Captain America. I thought we were talking in general. Like, I hate Captain America as a superhero in general. But again, whole different conversation. Talk about a lame superhero. Like, you're kind of strong with a shield, but whatever. Sorry.
Oh my God! Time to move on, Ray. We can't take this heat. This is not heat we're here for. Move on.
I like Captain America in Marvel versus Capcom. He's one of my guys in those games. I'll say that. All right, we move on. We actually move away from video games. We're going to talk about a board game. It happens from time to time here. We've got Hogwarts Battle. That's not the whole name of it. It's Hogwarts. Is it just Hogwarts Battle? I'm thinking of
it's Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle.
It is. You know what? I'm literally thinking of Hogwarts Legacy and thinking that's supposed to be in the title, and it's not. It is
on a
not.
Video game podcast. What's wrong with you?
Right? I'm about to walk over and grab the box off the shelf over there. Hogwarts Battle, the board game. I think I already have I kind of have the answer to this question that I had written down, but I'll ask anyway. So this is one of those games where it's the players against the game.
Yep.
As opposed to players against each other.
Yep.
Is that a style of game that you prefer playing, or is Hogwarts Battle kind of a one-off in that situation?
So a little bit of both. I love board games, especially over the last probably 5 to 6 years. We've really gone deep into board games. We go to a board game convention in our area every October with some friends of ours over the weekend. It's fantastic. And so we do a lot of board games now. Growing up, I did a lot of board games with my family. My wife did not. They were not game players. They're strictly a phase 10 type of family, which despise that game with every ounce of my being. But so they're not a board game family. She didn't grow up with them. And so kind of same with video games. And so as I tried to start getting her into board games, she does not love the strategy where you're having to strategize against everyone out there. Because I think she feels she's at a disadvantage in those types of games because she's just not good at them, has never played them. And so Hogwarts Battle was one of the toward the beginning of this, and she just loved it because you're all working together. Like you do your own hands, you do your own strategy, but you don't have to worry about other people coming to attack you. And so that aspect of it, she absolutely loves. I love those games as well. We're talking about like Marvel and things like that. The DC deck builder games, if you've never played them. Oh, that's
a fun one. Yep.
I absolutely Confrontations, 2v2 DC deck builder, one of my all-time favorite games. And so like I love all types of board games, but like these the cooperative one is definitely her go-to. Therefore, I stick with them as well, as much as possible. And she's definitely expanded into other board games. We play a lot of board games. And so she's gotten into different styles as well. And she doesn't hate all strategy games now, but Hogwarts Battle is one we always come back to. I love Harry Potter. I love everything Harry Potter. I didn't grow up reading the books. I actually watched the movies and I loved them. And then probably in college was actually the first time I read the Harry Potter books and I fell in love. And I reread those about once a year. Every summer we rewatch the Harry Potter movies together. And so this game was just like kind of a no-brainer. And so it's just, it really brings the essence of like the books and the movies into the game as you play through like game 1, game 2, game 3, and game 4. In fact, we were playing this weekend. We actually taught the game to Malfurious this weekend. We went over to his house to visit him. And so me, the wife, and Malfurious were playing together. And we're like on game 4. So we threw up like the 4th movie up on the TV. We're watching the movie as we're playing. And the fun fact about this game that I love coming back to is I've taught this game to 3 different people. And all 3 people have bought the game within a day of playing it with us. And so literally we left Malfurious's house today. 2 hours later, he had went and picked up the game from someone on Facebook Marketplace, and he was going to teach his daughters tonight. So it's such a good game. It's not super complex. But I will tell you, as you get into like game 5 up through game 7, it just kicks you in the teeth. I mean, it comes out of nowhere too. Like you'll be doing okay. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, the game ended in 10 minutes. Like we suck. And so we had that Saturday night, we're playing this game and we're playing game 7. We thought we beat game 6. We're tough stuff. We get to game 7. We play it 3 times and we quit for the night and we went to bed feeling very dejected and unsatisfied, which is what makes it such a good game though, because it's not easy to win every single time. Have you guys played this game?
Yeah, my wife and I played it. We nailed it first shot. I couldn't believe it. We loved it. I think I think we spent 3 nights doing it. We did like $2,
Okay.
and then we were
Yeah.
exhausted, and then the next day we picked
It's
up again.
you say exhausted, like it does. It can wipe you out a little bit going through them. The interesting thing we discovered is, and it makes sense when you think about it, is we started playing this game with 4 of us. It was the 2 of us, and then it was actually Nanner and his wife. And so we got to game 5, and we could not beat game 5. We probably played it 10, 12 times, could not beat it. Me and my wife played it together as the 2 of us, beat it first try.
I think it's easier. I think
It
with
is.
less players.
The less players is the easier, and so yeah, you want to play game 7 with 4 people, or game 5 to me is actually the hardest one. You play game 5 with 4 people, it'll knock you down. It'll knock you down. And the expansions are extremely solid. Very good expansions. I know Jedi raves about this game. I think this was their pandemic game that his family played. He loves it. They have the expansions. They play this, or used to play it at least quite often. Very solid game. Every couple years on Prime days, it'll go on sale for like $13, $14. Pick it up. You will not regret it. 100%.
All right. Well, let's talk about the future now, and we're gonna jump back to where you were earlier. You alluded to this, or talk about It Takes Two, but Split Fiction's the game you're looking forward to in the future. Whether it's the they're adapting for the Switch 2, whatever they got coming down the line, you're looking to pick it up when it comes to Nintendo country.
Yeah, I've looked into it a little bit, and I'm on the fence. I know I would enjoy it. There's some weird things about this game for sure. But it looks very good. My issue is I don't know if I want to buy it on like my PC or on another system, just because I don't think my wife wants to come sit down at my computer and play a game with me. She wants to sit on the couch and play up on our TV. And so
especially when you have the split screen too, like you need that extra space to work with. Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm hoping it comes to the Switch 2 when it comes out with kind of the updated, like with the power that the Switch 2 will have.
I think it will.
I think it will too. And so that's kind of what I'm holding out on. I'm still not 100% positive that my wife is going to love this game. It gives the vibes off of It Takes Two for obvious reasons. I mean, you have the same developers or same makers. And so that's why it's on my list though, because I'm always looking for that next game that's going to give us the Overcooked 2, the It Takes Two vibes, where we can just dig into it and just enjoy doing it together. That's what I love about games, is trying to find games that I can play with my son, with my wife, with my family. And so that's why it made the list. Is It Takes Two was so incredible that they're not going to put out a crappy game. Like it's going to be a good
you buy
game.
Season tickets to Hazelight at that point. Like you're in for whatever they're going to do. I'm in.
Pretty much. That's pretty much where I'm at. And so that's why it's definitely on the list. I have not played it yet, and I probably won't play it until it comes out on the Switch, or Switch 2. So that's kind of where we're in a holding pattern right now, but it's definitely on the one I'm looking forward to for that reason.
All right, well, we're going to take a question from the Channel 3 history books. I'm going to tell you to pull up your Channel 3 while I'm going through this introduction here, because normally I don't prepare anybody for these quests, because I like to get them from a spontaneous nature, but I have been far too intrigued by the TV show Cups quest this week. The Cups challenge was to design a series of 4 races inspired by a TV show. We shared on the Channel 3 page the Bluey themed races that O22 put together this week, but you had assembled your own series of 4 races inspired by specific episodes of TV. And this one, my son's been, this was a hotel show for him a few times now, and he's decided this is the next on his binge watching streak. I put him on to 30 Rock first for some reason. Like I don't remember what it was that made me go 30 Rock before The Office, but The Office he has already decided is next on deck. So let's hear your run of four races for an Office themed cup.
So first and foremost, The Office is just one of the greatest shows of all time. Yes. It is so good. My first introduction to The Office was, we were at like a youth conference, and they had like a 5-minute countdown, and their 5-minute countdown was Jim pranking Dwight for 5 minutes. And so like he's hiding his desk in the bathroom and he's doing all that. And so we watched that and we were just laughing our heads off, and we're like, I need to watch this show. And so we got into it, and I've now watched season 1 till the end, probably, I don't know, 9-10 times. Like, it is 100% my guilty pleasure show. I will throw it on and just watch it. It's so good. And so, yeah, I was sitting there today. We're actually driving back from Iowa City today, and I'm looking at this quest, and I'm like, I wanted to do Seinfeld because I love Seinfeld. I thought about doing Arrested Development because that's such a great show.
I'm here for that. Yeah.
It's so good. But then I came back to my go-to. So yeah, The Office. Basically what I did is I pulled up the 96 Mario Kart tracks and I just started scrolling up and down until one caught my eye. And then I looked at it and I'm like, okay, yep. So first one was Coconut Mall. And so that brought up was called Women's Appreciation.
Such a great pick.
So
these are all inspired. That's why we had to go through this. I'm sorry.
It hit me, and I was just like, "Oh, dude, this is Michael. This is him taking the women and just being so awkward and like taking them like lingerie shopping. Like it's a good episode. It's them coaching him through his like Jan situation, and then like Pam is out there buying a bathrobe to cut into towels or something. Like it's a good episode. Coconut Mall, so fitting. Like that was just a no-brainer. Like literally, it was so easy. Number 2, I could not do it without having Pretzel Day. And so I had a couple options. It's not the perfect fit, but I picked Sweet Sweet Canyon. It's got like the donut at the end there, Sweet Sweet Canyon. And it's the title of the episode was Initiation. But it was Stanley's pretzel. Like that's what that episode is all about. And Stanley like, no cutting, back of the line. Like, Phyllis, no, what are you doing here? And he goes and like they're talking about what can you put on our pretzel? And the guy just lists off everything known to mankind. And he's like, can I get it all? Oh yeah, the works. Let's do this. And so he's putting chocolate and cinnamon and sugar. And I'm like, Sweet Sweet Canyon. We got to go with it. The third one is semi-controversial, I guess you could say. I went with Twisted Mansion for the Koi Pond episode, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense if you don't know the cold open that originally came with that episode. Have you guys seen that cold open for that episode of The Haunted House?
Wait, what do you mean originally came with it?
Well, parts of the original Haunted House cold open was only on the original, like when they first showed the episode, and then they cut it.
That's when us old people saw it. I didn't know they.
Yes. So they cut it out. They cut it out because in that episode, and can be a trigger warning. I don't know how you want to put that out there, but is Michael hangs himself in the haunted house as part of the haunted house and scares the kids. Well, after that first airing of the episode, they took that out. They cut that out.
I never knew that.
They did not. That part of the cold open was taken out. But that is where the haunted house came in because they're going through and like Jim is, was it Bookface? He was dressed up as Bookface in that episode. So it was kind of the haunted house part. But yeah, Twisted Mansion, Haunted House. I thought that was very fitting as well. And then the fourth one, I spent way too much time trying to pick the fourth track. I ended up on Mount Wario, and there's a couple different episodes you could have chosen. I went with Classy Christmas solely for the snowball fight between Jim and Dwight, which escalated to ridiculous levels so fast. And then it turned Jim, and I didn't actually like this episode because it turned Jim into this, I don't even know what you call him.
He went full heel in that one.
Lot,
yeah.
When he was in the parking lot with those snowmen, like it hurt me to see Jim like that.
He got it. Dwight just really got him for an episode.
Oh my gosh,
Dwight
finally
wins.
Dwight really did win.
Dwight
That's
finally
100% wins. And as an Office fan, like you don't necessarily love Dwight winning, but man, did Dwight win that episode for sure. But I went with Mount Wario in the snow, and the Classy Christmas for the Jim Dwight snowball fight, and then the snowmen in the parking lot that Jim just lost his mind on. Which, to be fair, connects on another level of I've seen a lot of people lose their mind racing against me on Mount Wario. So,
there you go.
There's another connection right there.
Oh man, those are great. I love them. As long as you don't pick Moroccan Christmas, we're all good. That's
oh my gosh,
by far the worst Christmas.
Where do you bring Scott's Tots into this? That's what I just want to know.
Okay, Scott's Tots. It's
first of all, that show is hilarious.
Okay,
Stanley laughing, like losing it as the only person that remembers that Michael did this.
It's so good. Some people hate that episode. They're like, it's so cringy, and it's like, well, welcome to The Office.
That's the point. That's the
Office.
I need one thing from you. because I've already earmarked. I'm like, oh, there's gonna be a good gift coming out of this. But just in honor of the disrespect some of the later season activities get, I need you to look dead in the camera and say, "I am the Lizard King" for me right now.
Okay.
Get in character if you need to, but I need like a game face from you, and just I am the Lizard King. Feel free.
Now I have a quick point here. Is that the exact quote used in the
No,
TV
it is not
show?
the exact.
No, it's not.
You may use the exact quote if you want.
No,
I will. Yeah. I didn't want to put you in that situation. I'm aware of what the exact quote is. Yes.
Let me tell you,
I just wanted to make sure.
Season 8, season 8 gets lobbed in with season 9. As people saying like they're both terrible. No. Only season 9 is off the rails because they lose all their writers.
Yeah.
The writers were still
all the
there.
writers moved on. Yeah.
The writers moved on. The writers were still there for season 8. Like season 8 is still hilarious. Robert California.
Robert California came in swinging. Let me be clear.
And even there, like don't get me wrong, like I will still watch season 9 in my playthroughs. It is not my favorite. Because you're right, it has a huge drop off. I mean, first of all, you lose Michael Scott, like you lose so much of what The Office is. But another season that gets so much hate that I hate when people hate on it is season 1.
Season 1's amazing.
There are so many, amazing, like the basketball game. I mean, there's so much in season 1 that is incredible, and people are like,
they just,
I couldn't even watch it. I can't even watch it. And I'm like,
they weren't firing on all cylinders. Like there was a lot of like, okay, they just copy pasted from the British show and
to the British show,
they hadn't found. And same with like I've told my son with Parks and Rec the same thing. I'm like, you're skipping the first season of Parks and Rec. The Office, he's going to watch the first season. Parks and Rec, you skip the first season.
It's only 6 episodes.
Yeah.
But
The Office,
it's only
watch
6
those
episodes. For Office
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, Parks and Rec, like they're like, I couldn't get into it, and I'm like, dude, just wait till season 2.
Just
like,
skip.
Go to season 2.
Just
like,
skip right to season 2. That's all you do. Just my
Yeah.
advice for me: skip to season 2.
Okay, I'll give you I
need your best game face.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what he looks like when he says it. Hold on.
His face is dead. His face is dead. It's not angry. It's not angry. It's not rage filled.
You don't even know my real name.
That's right. I forgot.
You don't even know my real name.
Oh, this is gonna be. It's all staying in. I don't care.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. I'll even add in a little bit extra so you can throw in some. Okay. Here we go. No,
I'll cut accordingly.
So he's sitting there on his phone talking. I will not be blackmailed. He's like
talking to Andy.
Talking with Andy. Will not be blackmailed. Is Andy or Jim he's talking to?
It's Andy.
Is it Andy? Okay. I'm the Lizard King.
Perfect. Sold.
You got to have that in there. I'm not gonna.
Jim was never strong enough to fight.
No, you're right. You're right there. I will say one of my biggest, like, I could talk about The Office all night. You talk about Jim though. When he wore the tuxedo, it is such an easy thing for him to recover and like come up with an excuse.
You can just take your jacket off too. You can just spend a day in the
jacket
shirt.
Off. Take like. But anyway, it's a crazy show.
Him and Idris Elba was just like an underrated relationship situation too.
Idris Elba is so good for that show.
Told to have a certain magnetism to women, whatever it is he says.
Oh my god, dude! The Office, it's so good.
All right, I'm done, Brian. Take us home, Ray.
And by the way, the true villain of that show is Pam. Right? Pam is actually the villain of the show. She's actually the worst person in the entire show.
I'll be honest, like Karen Filippelli all the way. I mean, let's like.
I'm not doing it again. Listen. We're not bringing this heat, boys. We're not bringing this heat down.
Karen got the short end of the stick for no reason. She did nothing wrong at all.
Wasn't her dad like a GI or something? Or sorry, okay.
Moving on. I can't have this heat. Ray, what's the feature? Ask the feature.
Well, but what's been your favorite feature on Channel 3?
I think my favorite aspect of Channel 3, or my favorite feature, I guess I won't even call it a feature here. My favorite aspect of Channel 3, we've talked about it a lot tonight, is I love the social aspect of gaming. Like that's what gaming is all about for me. And Channel 3 has made that so much easier to do and to grow those relationships. And so I guess a feature would be maybe some of those original party nights, those Wednesday night party nights when it was Fortnite, Fall Guys, Mario Kart, or some of my like all-time favorite memories. Having Dan lose his mind on stream because an ad popped up or whatever the case was. It's that just that community, that sense of community has been just such a cool thing. And so, and even like in more recent times, like the video game book club, like just seeing how that has brought people into games that they never would have played before, and to play with other people and talk with other people. Like, it's just such a cool thing that in the time of social media and online presence and like how detrimental it can be. Like as a teacher, you see how detrimental all this technology can and is being on our kids. Channel 3 has been an area where kids and adults alike can come together in a positive way. I mean, I talk about like I play Fortnite a lot with like Buster, and like there's no chance without Channel 3 I would have ever played a game with Buster, met Buster, anything in my entire life. Yet we're hanging out 4 times a week, just kind of talking and getting to know each other and like really just growing as a community. And so that's been a really cool thing about Channel 3, 100%.
Perfect. And on that note, we've made it to the end of another 183 podcast. Thank you, Mamba, for being back with us again. You can find the podcast at c3.gg/podcast, dropping every Wednesday morning at 3:33 a.m. Eastern on all the major platforms, including Spotify, YouTube Music, and Apple Podcasts. I'm Ray. Dan puts this all together. Our theme song is by Caster Garden. And for our executive producer, Joel Willis. Have a good day, everybody.
Flawless victory.
Ray, anything else I should say or go over?
Ori and the Blind Forest completely holds up.
Oh yeah, I had a way tougher time with the Wind Temple. Annoyed me a lot more than I expected.
That's the second one.
Yeah, because the first one, muscle memory took over. I was like, I got this, and the second one, I was like, oh wait, I forgot. You got to like rise up, drop, move to this. I forgot like some of the nonsense you have to do in that. The temple itself was annoying. Too.
The gravity stuff. I had to remember how to do gravity stuff.
That was the problem.
Okay,
I made the same mistake and forgot to go into the section. It gets locked off. So 2 playthroughs. I don't know what that section looks like because I both times forgot to do it. Well, the first time obviously didn't know. Second time forgot.
I watched it go by and I was like, I probably should have gone into that. That's probably the God.
Yep.
No.
I'm trying to remember here, Ray. Do you like the first game or the second game better?
Second game.
Okay, I thought you did.
Second game is way more your typical Metroidvania.
Yeah,
than the first one is. And playing the first one again, I'm 100% sure I like the second one more still.
Okay, because I feel like there's a decent amount of people, myself included, who prefer the first one.
There's a lot of you. You're all weird.
As I know, and I think it's just I don't know, like. I do like that there's like some added like skills and things like that, but at the same time, I feel like I use so much of my time like going to the menu and switching my skills versus just learning to master the basics and just work my way through.
That's because you guys are not Metroidvania people.
InfoSave's gonna be so pissed at you guys if you don't save some of this.
I know. Okay, well,
take notes. So I got to take notes.
What it reminds me of so much, and I actually talk about it a little bit here in one of my games, but like Tears of the Kingdom, I 100% prefer Breath of the Wild because Tears of the Kingdom, like the building, I did not get into it. And so I usually just used the same thing over and over and over again versus trying to figure out what was actually supposed to be used in this situation.
Well, I made one bike. And once I got the bike balanced correctly, I saved it. And I was like, that's my bike that I, fly around with.
That's all you need. Yeah. For sure, but
I looked at the hours, so I think I put like the same amount of hours into both of them. Though, like I never got all the shrines done in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah,
I ended up having about the same hours in both.
I need to go back and play the second Ori. I got 40% through, and then I took a break, and then I tried to go back and play it, and I started playing, and I'm like, I have no idea where I'm at, what I'm doing.
I need to figure out what it was that came out when I started to play the second Ori, because I did not get far into it because I know something else came out that took my time. I don't know.
I think Fortnite just happened for me, so that's just.
Oh, they're about the same time,
dude. I can't quit. I can't quit Fortnite. I want to, I just can't.
Now I'm going to tell you have to save it. Save it. Save
Okay,
it.
I'll shut my mouth right now.
You're taking Ray's bits.
I've fallen off on Fortnite for sure.
All right, we'll move this along then, so we don't interfere anymore then.
I got my lemonade, so I'm ready.
What the is that?
It's the same one I showed on stream.
Is that antifreeze?
This one is lemon raspberry.
Oh, I didn't actually see the bottle because when when I'm watching, I'm only seeing the marble screen.
Oh yeah.
So I don't see Ray.
It looks like a cleaning solution is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
It looks like windshield washer fluid.
It's great though. I'll tell you.
I mean, the flavor sounds good. It reminds me of I used to love a berry lemonade, Jones soda. If you ever had that.
Oh, that's still good.
Oh, so good.
I didn't know if I was gonna like this or not, but I'm like.
I just like how it sounds like it's all natural lavender and everything, and you got that windshield washer fluid.
The lavender one's great.
I'm forever tainted against lavender because of my wife's friends in college. We went out. Like I knew the guy before my wife and I started dating. So we all went out together one night and hitting some bars around my 21st birthday, and guy goes, "Oh man, I got these lavender mints or lavender candies. They're so good." And it just tasted like I put soap in my mouth.
Yeah,
I'm not
a lavender guy. I've had a lavender lemonade. I'd rather just have normal lemonade. I'll be honest.
You know what I had?
Lavender. It tastes like. I just don't like it.
Lavender was good.
Lavender or not.
There's like a local caramel vendor who makes caramel chews out here, and they have a there's one with a hint of lavender to it. I'm like, okay, this actually works. It's the only thing I've ever had lavender in. Then I'm like, oh, it doesn't taste like I'm just chewing on a bar of soap.
I didn't know. See, now I gotta check if the stuff I mop my floors with is lavender.
I literally, I hear lavender. I think of essential oils or cleaning solution
or Fabuloso.
Oh, it's okay. Is Fabuloso lavender?
Well, the purple one is, yeah.
The purple one is, right? Oh, that's the only one you're supposed to use. That is the cleaning product of my people.
It is your people who taught me about Fabuloso in Aramingo and Philly. Yes, I am directly aware of that because
you put Fabuloso in everything. Like if you get a Swiffer mop, forget the Swiffer solution. You put Fabuloso in there with some water.
That was when I worked for Lowe's when we opened up Aramingo Avenue, and just we just put out end caps of that stuff and.
That's right.
And it flew, but not only the purple. You try to mess with they got a new citrus spring one. Nope, that would stay there forever. Nobody touched that.
Purple only.
Anyway, all right.
Purple.
Back on mission here. All right, yeah. So if you're good, we'll go ahead and take a quick pause and we'll start.
Sounds good.
Sorry, I just have bottled water, not lavender or blue, custom squeezed blue raspberry.
It's so bad because she's canceled the last 2 times she was supposed to go. I need to add any more. I need to ask her if she delivers these or not, so I can tell people.
Where'd you get it from?
This is a lady. Her kid that I tutor brought it over one day.
Okay.
And she's like, "Yeah, I make these and sell them." And I was like, "You need to bring me more." She's like, "Yeah, I got 10 flavors that you need to try."
Is it refrigerated? Does it have to be? What's your shipping policy? Yeah,
that I'm gonna ask her all those questions.
I feel a sponsorship coming on here for C3.
Enjoy within 7 to 10 days. That's what it says.
I'll just start designing a banner now, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm gonna really pause it and get moving.
Okay,
she's got a brand and everything.
She gets a booth in July.
I'll tell you,
or June, whenever it is.
Oh, that's a good idea. Don't. All right.
Channel 3 is the future.